Okay, so this video is going to tell you how to hire inside of your agency. Now, I've been hiring in my agency for quite a while now, at least a few years, and I'm only recently hiring people on a full-time basis, people on a salary. And since I've been doing this, I've learned an awful lot, and I'm going to share those learnings with you in this video. So if you're not familiar with me, my name's Ben Lister. I help agency owners, business owners by documenting all my learnings, all my findings on this YouTube channel that currently help me to make multi-six figures per year. So the first thing that I want to note is that when it comes to hiring people, a lot of people are obsessed with the idea of hiring someone with the most experience, right? The best reputation, people who look the best on paper, because for whatever reason, people just see it as a sort of statistics game. And so if you have someone with 4 years experience, this person is going to be better than the person with 2 years experience. This is what I found to be wrong. This is not correct. If you are hiring based on that, oftentimes you can come into issues where either one, you have to pay an awful lot to have those people inside of your business, or two, because you're going to be basically not the best job that they've ever received, they don't care anywhere near as much as someone who is either just starting out or this is like a step up for them, right? If you are picking someone off on a very high level that has all this experience and all this, great things going for them, and they actually take a step down to go and work with you because you're not the biggest agency that they've ever worked with, then what tends to happen is you get this kind of power imbalance where the person who's sort of coming down doesn't see you as a job that's worth having, right? Either they're looking to go somewhere else, or they're constantly looking for new roles and different things to do so they can leave you, or they just don't think the job is worth their time and worth their energy compared to some of the jobs they've had previously. The key that I found when it comes to hiring these people is finding someone who actually wants to be there, someone who actually is looking forward to the job, someone who is going to excel in this role because they're going to put in effort no matter what. It doesn't matter if you have someone with all the skills, all the experience, they tick every box, but they don't actually want to be there, they don't actually want to work for you, they don't see it as like a really big task for them, then those people are going to start to drop off. Those people are not going to put the work in. In actual fact, people who don't have the most experience but are prepared to put that effort in are going to be the ones that overtake those. Those are going to be the guys that give you the best results. Those are going to be the guys that give you the best results, and those are going to be the guys who you want to hire inside of your agency. So I've been looking internally inside of the business in order to hire these people. And so one thing I have been doing is hiring a couple clients that we've had from previously. And this seems to be going pretty well. Firstly, because these guys know the business inside and out pretty much. They know it almost as well as I would do, or someone that's been working in the business for a while, simply because they've been through the onboarding. They've been a client before. They've seen what their service is like. And so they make a very good option to actually go and hire, because you don't need to explain a whole bunch of stuff. You don't need to explain the concept of the business, right? Whereas if you hire someone externally, they have this really fresh canvas where they just don't know anything at all. And you've really got to paint this canvas bit by bit and get every small detail right in order to paint that picture for them that says, this is what we do. This is why it works. This is what our clients want. This is what our team wants. All of that stuff, right? Whereas if you just hire someone in that has experience inside of your business, like a client, then you don't need to do all that, right? It's almost like hiring someone internally for a position that's just opened up and promoting someone rather than hiring someone in new. But you can basically have that same effect and add someone into the business which is new by still hiring a client. And I've actually found that hiring clients makes a lot of sense, simply because if you are a business where you're a marketing agency, right, you're trying to grow your clients' businesses, you're trying to give them more money, which a lot of people will be in that situation. So a lot of clients that you have are looking for more money. They are in a situation where they would like to improve that situation, right? They want to go from one position they're in now to a bigger one, right? And you can actually help them to bridge that gap by giving them a job that pays pretty well, right? So for example, let's say you have someone who is looking to sign 10 more clients a month, right? And that gives them an extra $5,000 a month or whatever it is, right? That's their goal they're looking for. If you hire them as an appointment setter and you have the expected earnings of like $4,000 to $5,000 a month, they don't really need to run that business. They just need the $4,000 or $5,000 extra a month, right? And a lot of people don't have these crazy ambitions of being like a super big entrepreneur or anything like that. All they want to do is just make that little bit of extra cash so they can go and do whatever the thing is that they want to do with that cash, right? There's very, very usually there is a thing in mind that they have when they go and generate this extra cash. They're going to be able to do this with it, right? But if you can give them that cash in terms of a job, a role, which is way more secure, and obviously at that point they're going to have a lot more benefits, a lot more security than you giving them extra clients, for example, then they're probably going to jump at that. And I think a lot of people would be surprised at how many clients you have out there that would actually be interested in working for you. Another thing to note is that when you're hiring someone, you need to hire fast and you need to obviously fill that position pretty quickly, but you also need to fire quicker. So this is the point where a lot of people might disagree with this. And I think on a moral level, people would be less likely to do this. It's a pretty difficult conversation to obviously to fire someone, to basically relieve someone of their responsibilities. But when it comes to the business as a whole, there is nothing more moral than actually going and getting rid of someone who isn't either doing their job or is dragging everyone else down inside of that business. Because if that person is basically not performing how you want them to, at some point or another, they're basically contributing to the downfall of the revenue, which is obviously contributing to the job security of everyone else. And so if you can quickly identify people who are not doing their job, they are just not coachable, they don't really want to be there, and you can get rid of them and replace them by someone who is, then at this point, you're going to have lots of people inside of the business, a smaller team, I guess, but these guys are going to have a pretty secure job, right? This business is going to be able to grow, and you're going to be able to expand positions that are incredibly secure, people that have a job which is almost a guarantee, right, at this point, because you know that you're building a good culture, because you know that you are actually hiring people who want to be there, and because you know you're hiring people that are actually competent as well. And one thing that I would say as well is that if you see any red flags early on with the person that you're hiring, then I would make sure that you believe them every single time. And what I mean by that is if someone reveals who they are, they do something that you think, that wasn't quite right, I'm not sure why they did that, this, is a bit of a red flag to me, you shouldn't give them that second chance straight away. I mean, I would say second chance is a bit obviously harsh, but if you're coming from the perspective where you need someone who is diligent, someone who is disciplined, someone who is consistent, right? All of these things, and they very quickly show you, or they complete some actions that show you that they aren't consistent, then you basically need to believe them at that point, because their actions are going to speak obviously louder than their words, right? But when they tell you that they are consistent, but then they don't do something that's consistent, you need to believe them the very first time that their actions actually do that, because eventually, when they go further in your business and, maybe you give them more responsibilities or something like that, you'll quickly realize that they actually told you way, way, way before that they weren't consistent by doing something specific, right? Something that happened before. And so if you don't believe them then, if you just kind of ignore it and just hope that it doesn't happen again, eventually that will come back around and bite you. And this is something that I've learned. I've had a few people in recent weeks and months who initially I thought, that's a bit strange. A few red flags got thrown in there, and I thought, what, I'll just see how it goes. And then eventually it comes back around and it does bite me. And so it's something to be aware of. Obviously, if you have things that you are specifically looking for each individual role, whether it's a media buyer, whether it's an appointment setter, whether it's a salesperson, whatever it may be, and they breach those very specific things, or they breach something which you would consider a fundamental for someone in that role, such as consistency, such as desire to be there, all that kind of stuff, then I would very quickly realize that and basically believe them the very first time they do that and look to replace someone else. And when you do hire for a position, and I literally mean any position, some will be worse than others, but basically you need to understand that for every person that you want to hire, you should probably have to hire at least 3 people to get it right. So when we hire, for example, virtual assistants, we have quite a lot of virtual assistants in our business because we have a lot of tasks that need doing. And we know that if we need 2 lead sources, we're going to have to hire 6 people for that. And so we've hired quite a lot of lead sources that just weren't good enough, just weren't responsive, just all of a sudden their work got pretty poor quality, and you just have to keep hiring until you find that one person who is good enough. Then you keep them in, and then the next time you need one, then you go through this whole process again. And so, yeah, when we do hiring, we basically are prepared to hire an awful lot of people to go through this. I think there's only 1 or 2 positions that I've actually hired for when I've hired someone and then they've actually stayed on because they've been successful, because a lot of people just aren't cut out for it. A lot of people just don't want to put the work in, and a lot of people just should not be in a business that is looking to grow and is looking to make 10, 20, 30K a month while being super, super streamlined. But yeah, I hope that you got a lot of value from this one. If you are looking for clients for your agency, just click the first link in the description. It's no email opt-in or whatever like that. It's literally just a video of me explaining what my company does, how we do this, how we've done this many times before. But yeah, I don't care if you click it or not. It doesn't really affect me. I'll still be making these videos for a very long time. But yeah, like the video, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.